G'day friends, welcome to the swatch video. I'm going in hyper speed because this took hours, but there's the initial concept sketch. You know, when I'm swatching stuff out, I just don't like to swatch it out in squares. I don't know, I just feel, especially when I've got a little dot card, like I want to make something with it because there's not much paint on those dot cards, and like if I swatch out a square, then I'm using it for something that I don't really I don't have a use for after I've swatched it out. So I usually like to create an illustration and just play with it the way that I think I'm going to like playing with it in the end anyway. So that's just how I swatch things out. I'm just going literally from left to right, top to bottom on these swatch cards. And they're the 238 dot cards from Daniel Smith Watercolors. I've also got the 8 new colors that I'm going to swatch out. And every single color that I have access to from Daniel Smith on that dot card and those 8 new ones is on this page. It was a nightmare to have to clean my brush off in between every single swatch. But I think it was totally worth it in the end. I created these little illustrations based off a little illustration that I did in the back of my Japan journal. This cute little like Japanese girl that I saw at Tokyo Disneyland, and I just made her like a little cartoony, little cute kawaii version. So I've drawn, I think there's 41 on here. And I don't know if my math is correct right now, but basically each one had about 6 different colors on it. So there was space in each illustration for 6 different swatches is kind of what I'm gonna say how I did that. The math was involved. I did use every single color. I think I had 1 blank space at the end because I decided not to swatch the white. Or maybe there were 2 blank spaces because there were 2 whites that I didn't swatch. But for all intents and purposes, let's just say that the whites look like a great white. I don't usually use white watercolor. I have access to a couple, and I use them to mute down some of the colors and make pastel versions, but that's just pretty obvious stuff. So yeah, so this is my color swatch chart. I'm gonna go through a few of the color palette that I would choose to purchase. Just because if you're interested, these are the colors that really stood out to me. Bordeaux is this really beautiful rich wine color. Naples yellow, I think it'd be a really great tone to mix with, to mix flesh tones with, lighter skin flesh tones, I should say. Rose of ultramarine, I love it. It's just such an unusual color. Quinacridone Coral, beautiful. Permanent orange. I'm always looking for a really bold, strong orange, and this permanent orange just looks like the orange that I have in my head. So it's like an orange. Bronzite Genuine and Burnt Bronzite Genuine. I'm a sucker for anything with glitter and shimmer in it. So those genuine minerals really do come through in those, which I think would be really pretty for like adding a shimmer to a skin tone, maybe. I don't know, something like that. Sepia. Really think that's an interesting color. Carbazole Violet, really, really strong purple. Like you just don't get that kind of a pigment in regular watercolors. Mayan Blue Genuine, interested kind of muted dirty blue, I would say. Phthalo Blue GS. There's another one, Phthalo Blue, it says like RS or maybe something S. But the GS is the one that I chose. Ultramarine Turquoise, gorgeous turquoise aqua color, beautiful for mermaids and water and stuff. I'm gonna get this wrong, but Terra Verte, I want to say. It's a really beautiful deep green. It's not super deep and dark, but it granulates really pretty, and I think it's really pretty. I would love to use that in some like floral stuff. Green for florals, right? So obvious. Permanent green, beautiful. It's the green version of like that orange, just that really bold green, the green that I think of in my head when I think of green. Deep sap green, just because it's darker, and I have troubles mixing darker colors. I can always mix a lighter one, but the darker ones is where I seem to lose some of the vibrancy, and I just don't know if I'm mixing them properly, but you know, I'll totally buy a dual pigment watercolor just for the ease of not having to mix it myself. Perylene Red, nice red. Purell Orange, nice orange. Duochrome Mauve, Duochrome Turquoise, Duochrome Violet Fantasy. These are just gorgeous, gorgeous duochrome colors. They just, I mean, I just want to lay them on top of everything. They just give such a nice sheen, and they're just really, really pretty. And they've got a base. Like the Duochrome Turquoise has a solid turquoise base. So you're, it's not just like an add-on top. You can literally just paint with it. So Iridescent Copper, that's a really interesting one too. Pearlescent Shimmer, just because, like I said, I'm a sucker for shimmer. I'll add it to anything. So having that in a little half pan I think might be useful for me. Shadow Violet, really interesting granulation there. It kind of reminds me of just a darker, maybe a little bit more muted version of Moonglow. Purell Red, I think that's the bold red. If you're looking for a really strong red, like a beautiful red lip, Purell Red. And Lemon Yellow, just because I chose, you know, the yellow that was in my head when I think of yellow. And Steve's last name is Spanish for lemons, so I had to pick that one, obviously. Some of the other products I use, a Muji pen, a Pigma Micron, Uniball Signo White. I also did all this initial sketching just with a mechanical pencil, and then I went over it with a Copic sepia multi-liner. I'm gonna say sepia. And yeah, just added in all the details at the end. I used a Copic marker for the background. I've said this in another video before, but please don't use Copic markers on super absorbent watercolor paper. They will just eat through your ink. I do it because mine are at the end of their lifespan, and I don't think I'm gonna get refills, but I might just buy a new one. I'm not quite sure just yet, but it ate through that marker. So I ended up coming back with a very similar colored marker, just a darker tone of the one that I used, and ended up pulling that together. And I kind of liked that it was, it kind of looked like there was shadows and highlights going on in the background as well. But I just love the flat lay of color, especially because of all this watercolor granulating and separating and stuff. I had to have a very neutral background. But yeah, I've got not much more to say, I guess. Daniel Smith watercolors are an investment. They're gorgeous. I've said enough about them before. I'm really interested in trying to fill out my palette with those colors that I found interesting. And if you like this swatch video, I'm going to say this for the first time, but give me a thumbs up. I always see a thumbs down on my videos. Who is that? Please let me know in the comments. But yeah, subscribe to my channel, do all that good stuff. I'm only saying this because Stella told me that I should say it because I'm a proper YouTuber now. So we'll see how that goes. I might not ever say that again. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.
This time